What's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to sit down with my friend Chris, who found me on social media and then joined the ambassador link. I set him up with a Airbnb listing and boom, he got us a bunch of bookings. So we're going to take a deep dive. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but if you want to see the whole process, stay tuned. All right, you guys, John Hildebrand here. Some of you may know that I am an official Airbnb ambassador. So what does that mean? That means someone like Chris, who I'm about to interview, he's never hosted before. He's brand new. He joined with my link. Him and I get connected. I get to see all the stuff that he's working on. So he's currently working on his listing. He has questions with photos, descriptions, all that kind of stuff. I get to help him through that process, help him find the city permits, all that stuff, whatever I can help him with on the feedback. And then it's his job to take my feedback or criticism or tips and tricks and to implement that. He really listened and really went for it. I thought it would be fun to bring him on and kind of talk to him a little bit, interview him, keep it really raw, and let you guys see how we ended up working together and then see how many bookings he is getting. So I have a huge launching strategy that we will talk about, but in the launching strategy, whenever I launched a brand new property, and I made Chris do this too, I always like to launch on Airbnb and block out my calendar. So I only open it up for like 30 to 35 days, sometimes 45 days, right? Then my pricing is really, really aggressive because I want to get as many bookings as possible and then get those 5-star reviews as possible, as many as I can. So a couple nice days, whatever. So we went ahead and did this with Chris and it really worked. I'm gonna show you his listing. You're really gonna see it. It's amazing. It came out absolutely great and he's getting bookings. What's up, everybody? This is John. I'm super excited to get Chris on a quick Zoom. So the reason why I want to bring Chris on this call is some of you guys may know I'm an Airbnb ambassador, and Chris got linked up with my profile. I have to ask him. I think it was through social media originally, and he had a new listing, wanted some guidance, and we walked him through that process. And I just wanted to bring him on firsthand and kind of show you guys how amazing his listing is, how he really took the direction, advice, and then kind of made his own twist on things. And I'm going to let him tell the story because it's freaking amazing what's happening right now. He's getting a bunch of bookings and some feedback already. So what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this, watched your content, and it's really helped make the navigation of this whole thing a lot easier, honestly.
Sick. Yeah. How did we originally connect? Was it through Instagram and then you...
Yeah, I think so. The funnel was seeing your content on Instagram and YouTube, and then seeing that you were an Airbnb ambassador and going, hey, look, I've got an Airbnb that I'm trying to open up. I should connect with him. And then just kind of pinging you for questions, as you know, and then kind of getting it to where we want it to be and going, okay, I don't know what I don't know, but I bet John knows. So I'm going to reach out to him and just make sure that we're not missing, opportunities for success or, missing some things that could really cost us a lot of money in the end. Totally. So having that one-on-one with you, basically the day that we opened up, I mean, a couple things that stood out to me was how you helped me focus on the strategy with Airbnb and getting our superhost status, or letting that be like the main priority so that we're not kind of split across all the different platforms that are out there, which was something I honestly didn't even think about before our call. I knew that we needed superhost status to be able to get the bookings and to be able to be promoted in Airbnb's algorithm, but I honestly didn't know that. I guess probably purchasing furniture and all this different stuff, it just didn't come to the front of my mind. But it was great. And then also just the way that you went through the listing, like the pictures that we had, and kind of answered some of the questions that I wasn't sure of because of this is my first Airbnb listing. So not knowing what angles I should exclude or things that just really don't add to the listing and help somebody that's trying to book with us, not be overwhelmed by what they're looking at so that they can make that decision real quick. And a lot of people have been making their decisions real quick. We we're up to over.
Don't say that yet. Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
Let's tease it just a
Pause.
sec. Yeah.
Okay.
What he's about to share is really mind blowing. And I wanted to interrupt a little bit because I'm really excited about this. I love when things connect, right? So he connected through social media. Airbnb started this ambassador program to link people just like Chris, who have a lot of questions, concerns, maybe some fears. You want a good business person, a good person wants to launch correctly. They want to get bookings right away. They want to set it up correctly. It's a big investment buying a house. Maybe it's your first house or it's an investment house. Like there's a freaking lot that goes into it. So he got connected up with me, and I saw right away by the questions he started asking through the Airbnb ambassador dashboard, because we got connected. And before he goes live, you guys, this is what's so cool about the program. Before he goes live, he can fine tune that. He can ask me the questions. Him and I can look at the listing, and I could, like I said, we can delete some of the photos, rearrange it. Most important is building out his description, title, and that kind of stuff, all the settings and whatnot. So before he even goes live, we kind of fine tune it. I'm going to share my screen and show you his listing before we go too hardcore into how amazing it's working. He literally just launched. It's been what, 48 hours?
I think maybe like 3 or 4 days. But yeah,
Yeah, it's sick. And for me, it's so fun. It's so fun, dude. When like I've gone through a lot of errors, I've gone through, learning curves of my own. And when I get to share that with somebody and they actually listen and go for it and like set up their listing off my suggestions, and then we see things work, is just, dude, it's insane. And Chris absolutely killed it here. Like, let's dive into, this is his listing. This is what the listing looks like. I would love for you to kind of like explain maybe some of the process of the furniture choices, some before and afters you showed me was mind blowing, by the way. Good job.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of the videos that you make about, how important photos are to this, right? Like the photos here were, quite a bit of money, but, keeping the big picture that you can spend thousands of dollars on furniture and all the things that go into it, but then you get cheap on the photos, it's going to impact you. And so we went with a high-end architecture photographer in the area, who I think absolutely killed it in terms of the pictures here, just like lots of light, but not like the harsh sort of over processed photos that sometimes you see out there, but also wanting to have pictures that are true to the nature of the property. So like when you walk in, you're still excited that you're there, that it's not like an unfair representation of what they're getting. And I think that when anybody books this property, they're going to go, wow, it's nice. It's as nice as the photos. And so like, there were a couple pictures in the room here that you were like, you know what, I think maybe I would remove that picture. I think it was a close up of that couch and that table over there.
Yep.
So I backed that out because it really didn't add to, I guess, the visual presentation point that the consumer, the guests that want to book this would need. And so there was one picture removed there. I think there was a couple other pictures that we removed.
Yeah, what's so cool here, you guys, too, is you hear me talk about it all the time. Photography is everything. But you can tell in his design that he spent a lot of money on furniture. It's very cohesive. There's a couple bright colors here and there that are going to pop in the photos. So getting a really good photographer is going to show all the hard work into design. Like, man, you freaking nailed it on the design. I love it. Like, little things that simple like this with the, this color that matches into this color on the pillows, and the bed looks super clean. And then you got some details.
Absolutely.
Man, it's freaking, I need to stay here, dude. It looks cool.
Come on, man. Anytime. Yeah. High Point, North Carolina, dude.
Like, look at this bathroom, dude. This is bitching.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So, taking the perspective of like high quality furniture that's going to last, not just the cheapest stuff, kind of like, again, what you've been talking about, right? That is going to impress and stand the test of time. So you're not having to replace stuff frequently. And so a lot of the stuff in the house here is article furniture, but we also have West Elm and some other, options where we had like, value opportunities to have the look, but not maybe as much expense. A lot of detail in the outdoor space, having an outdoor space. A lot of your properties, it seems like you focus on creating a space for people to gather outside. And so here we wanted to create a space that wasn't just a traditional, metal chair and metal table, but something that really, you want to hang outside for a long period of time.
Totally.
In any sort of weather. So that's kind of what we did there, towards the bottom of the patio section.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's very inviting. The colors are very inviting. The house feels warm, and you can see his first 5 images are what's going to get you guys the most amount of clicks. And he's got this bright green carpet, beautiful photos, and it all ties in together. I don't even know if I need to click on all the other photos. I could probably book this place straight up from the first 5 images, to be totally honest. I mean, it's that dope.
You really helped with that too. That was one of the things I was nervous about, because how do you pick the 5 best photos to represent your place, right?
Yeah.
I had family and friends that gave me some feedback, but it definitely helped more with somebody that has the experience that you have to look at it and go, yeah, I don't know that I would change much. That's kind of, it gives you a peace of mind a bit, that it kind of lines up. You feel good about it, but they have an outside person go, you know what, actually, this is great. Let's keep it,
Good point, dude. Good point. Will you share a little bit on the location? When you bought this house in the location, did you look at the competition? Did you see how you can kind of stand out? Were you nervous? Were you like, I got this kind of thing? Just curious.
I think in this particular case, I went to AirDNA and I looked at the area. I looked first at what the potential for the area was. And then I looked at the people who were performing and where they were located. And then at that point, I went and I kind of all right, how close is this property I'm buying to all those properties? And what would I need to do to make it comparable? And I'll send you a link to what it originally looked like. But, just imagine wood paneling walls that, needed to be painted for what you see in that property, right?
Yeah.
I knew from the very get-go that we needed to do, renovations to make it comparable to achieve that type of revenue, or I would just have to kind of settle for mid to lower range income based on that. Yep. So I felt like once we got an idea of what the top competitors or the top competing properties in the area were, then we could at least match, or I think in this case, we may have surpassed several of them out there. And I think that's, reflective of what we're seeing so far in the booking.
Very bookings. Cool. Okay, we're about to get real juicy, but let me show the other second most important part, right? So all eyes always go to the first 5 photos, and then it jumps into the description. Dude, just look how easy it is on the eye, man. Are you so much happier the way the layout and the...
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, you had mentioned as the final tweaks, you were like, you know what, actually add some star emojis in there, as your bullet points. Because before I had a dash and it was concise, but I think it really pops a lot more when you add in the emojis that Airbnb does allow, especially on the points that you want to have the quickest visual appeal to the guests on. That was a huge value add on your part for us.
Yeah, man, it's cool. And I'm a huge fan. I love adding the social channel. It gets people involved. Maybe if they're at their house, they tag it. Or if you eventually, they booked with you before, they have a good trust, they might reach out to you on social media, or they just want to share their experience on social media. It's genius. More people need to brand their house and stuff. So it's cool to see that. But I mean, the listing is exactly the way I like it built out, and it's so cool to see it built out that way, man. It looks, you nailed it. Stoked.
I appreciate it.
So fun working with you, man, because you really stuck it all in, and then you just went for it. And a part of that, you guys, I always give advice and tips because there's a million ways you can do this, and there are certain things that work for me that might not work for Chris, and he might have to change a few things. But one thing I'm really excited about is he has one listing. He's brand new, and I suggested that he should do a pricing tool right away. I suggested WheelHouse. WheelHouse is the one that I use. I'm really comfortable with it. It's easy for me to teach somebody else the basics parts of Wheelhouse. So, a lot of people are scared to sign up with a pricing tool when they're brand new because they're like, oh, I only have one listing. I'm just going to put a price up there. Would you kind of share that experience and why you ended
Yeah.
up trusting me on doing the Wheelhouse and starting that way?
Well, honestly, there's a lot of options out there on the pricing tools, right? And one of the things that we had talked about was, well, actually, honestly, just looking at the videos of how intuitive Wheelhouse is, like how user friendly it is. And that's something, especially as a new investor in, the short-term rental market, that I think one of the most intimidating things is if you don't understand the product that you're using, the fear is that you're going to miss out on revenue or make mistakes that cost you a lot of revenue. And so I think the way that it's presented, and it's so easy to navigate and select and edit your rates,
Mm.
in addition to using their automated portion of pricing, that to me it was like, I've got to do this. So because I had been
Right.
listening to some other suggestions out there, and I was just like, this feels right. And so I signed up for Wheelhouse, and connected my listing to it. They made some awesome updates recently where they have data driven stats, which is huge to me, right? Because
Yeah.
obviously you can never take your hands fully off of a property, but being able to trust that there is something that backs it up and not just some kind of robot that's going to get your property wrong, more than it gets it right,
Yep.
has been super helpful. Because honestly, when you look at a lot of the listings, people are they're sometimes pricing what they want to get, not what they're going to get, right?
Facts, dude. That's like super key. So true.
So keeping that in mind, especially as a first time investor, of your rate might be lower than what either AirDNA told you at the beginning or somebody else's listing, but you don't know what their bookings look like or what they had to do to get those bookings. So having something that has the insight and the comp intel for the area that can show the other properties and what nights they're booked on and the rates, like that's huge, because it allows you to um, not only use the dynamic pricing software that they have, but also allows you to go, I bet I'm a better property than this, and they're doing this. I can adjust my rates up by 5% or 10%.
Yep.
Or if it's the reverse of that, you can adjust it down so that you're competitive to your degree of willingness on the risk side, right? Like if you want to have every night booked, you can make sure you're the lowest priced one in the area. But if you feel like you're in the right place, you can bump it up or use the data that they've got. And it's been huge, man.
It's cool to hear it from the very beginning of the stages, and it's really exciting and it's mind blowing. So yeah, he connected Wheelhouse, and if he's happy to share, if Chris is happy to share,
Sure.
it's super nice of him to be this open and honest about his listing and his journey and the pricing. But obviously, he listened to everything. None of this would have worked without every step of the way. So he connected all the steps of the way. Then he connected Wheelhouse right away with the pricing. And just tell us what happened in the last 24, 48 hours, 3 days. I mean, this is just like so sick.
It's pretty wild. Like October's a pretty crazy month in the market that we're in, but we have I checked before we got on the Zoom here, and it's actually only 8 nights that have been booked in October at this point, but we're at
He
$4,800.
says only 8 nights, and it's like what, 3 days?
$4,800. Yeah. I mean, that's just, it blows my mind where we're at. It's exceeded our expectations. And even in months that are less slow, are less busy typically, we're still getting a pretty good response rate from people that are interested, and we're filling up the schedule. And honestly, going back to kind of something that you had said before, of really strategically treating the first month as a time to fill in that calendar. So like even in our first month of filling in the calendar, we're still doing great on the revenue side,
Yeah.
right? So it's possible that we could go through the first month and get the 10, hopefully 5-star reviews that would put us into that super host status, or shortly thereafter in the fourth quarter, that will benefit us for months and months to come.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's so cool to see all of that. It's all coming together. You're already starting to get like great feedback. When's your first guest check-in?
Actually, tomorrow. Yeah.
So I'm not sure when this comes out, but on September 23rd, his
Yep.
guest is checking in. So in the comments or something, when the video goes live, we'll have to find out how he's doing. I'm gonna send his link in the comments. You guys should all go check out his listing. I'll share the before Zillow. You guys should go hard it, check it out, and then we can see the reviews come in and the feedback coming in.
Sure. And if you
Yeah.
want to go wish list the property too, that
Yeah,
helps
duh.
bump us up. I mean,
Duh.
anything
Share
will
it to
help,
all
man.
your
Yeah.
friends. Come on now, people.
Come on. Yeah, absolutely.
Duh. Well, dude, honestly, this has been such a fun experience listening to your side, helping you through this project. I know we're going to stay in contact more. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
I feel like you're going to grow your portfolio. I'm just like, I could see you getting another one. Like you just did everything like so cool. And I'm really proud of you. And it's fun to be a part of the journey and watching you use the tools that are there for you to use that are working. So yeah, we gotta do a phase 2 in a couple months and see how things are going.
Absolutely. I'd love to, man. It's such an honor to be able to share the experience with other people that hopefully helps them, but also to talk to you after watching all the extremely helpful videos. So everybody go watch his videos if you want to get a good leg up. You know, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to beat your head up against the wall and make a lot of mistakes. Start with the knowledge, build on that, and you'll be ready when the time is right, you know?
Good point. Good point. So Chris is brand new. He has one listing. I suggested to start with WheelHouse pricing tool right away. A lot of times people don't really want to do a pricing tool right when they start because it's one listing, why not, But my theory is you better learn now, because if you do want to grow, then you have to figure out a pricing tool and then link it to multiple properties, which is still fine. But if you learn it from right away, plus you're probably going to earn a lot more money if you get a pricing tool right away like WheelHouse connected to your listing. And this is firsthand. You could see he started using WheelHouse. He started seeing their suggestions. He moved a couple things here and there because he knew the area, and he started getting bookings. So it's really important to use a lot of the tools. The tools out there are a lot smarter than we are, but then we can just adjust them and fine tune them. But WheelHouse is one of the ones that I always back. It's really easy to use. And you can see Chris talked about it quite a bit, pretty honestly, I think really honestly. And he was nice enough to share his feedback and the process. All right, you guys, I hope you liked that video. Never done this one before, but I thought it would be super fun and cool. If you like it, smash it, whatever. The links down below is Chris's Airbnb. Go check it out. Give him a little wish. Why not? It's freaking amazing. Or maybe book it. I don't know. Maybe book it. That'd be cool. You can also use my link down below for WheelHouse. Dive more into the pricing yourself. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.